Okay guys, so I'm going to be covering a decent amount of information today with different type of toilet flange repairs and some wax rings. So this is the Sioux Chief. This is for inside 3-inch pipe. So all you have to do is you just slip it right inside. Then you would fasten it to the floor. With these, I believe, I could be wrong, but you can actually take the gasket off and then you can cut it to your desired height. And then you could just, or desired depth I should say, and then you can slip the gasket right back on. So say if there's like a 90 in the floor and you need to cut it a little bit higher, you just put the gasket back on. These are twisting sets. This is for 3-inch, inside 3, this is for 3-inch, this is for 4-inch, this is for cast iron. So all how it works is you just set it in, and then you would just twist it. And what happens is, the more you twist it, the higher it goes and expands more. It makes a seal. I'll show you guys on this PVC. So you just slip it in there. Well, it's not grabbing. So you would just slip it in. Once I get this thing to grab, and you would just twist it. And it's going to expand, expand, expand until it gets really tight. Then you fasten it to the floor. And then obviously to remove it, you would untwist it. These right here, I'm not a big fan of. I've seen nothing but issues with this. This is for cast iron too. And I've had one floating on my truck forever. And what happens is they fall out and they crack. You'll see them crack around here. I've seen them installed. I've seen them cracked when they're installed. I've seen the seal just come right out. And it's pretty ridiculous. I've been seeing this type of flange repair fail all the time. If you over tighten it, it's stainless. It's going to be seized up or get seized up because there's these. I guess anything with stainless though, if you over tighten, it's going to seize up on you. I just don't like people. I've seen these things installed wrong also. Obviously, it's not going to do well if it's installed wrong. I just see a lot of issues with this type. A lot of issues to the point where I don't even want to use them. Unless I have to. Okay, this is if you're actually able to cut them out. The old flange. This is for 4-inch. This is 3-inch. This is a 3-inch spigot flange. So this can slide right into PVC, 3-inch PVC. This is for 3-inch on the outside. It's also meant for 4-inch. Let's get this off. There's some spacers in case your flange is below the floor. You can start picking these up, picking the flange height up. I looked these up. I think the max is 3 high with these. And the reason why you would pick your flange up if it's below the floor is because if you use a thick wax ring, there's a chance where if you're plunging it you could blow the wax out. So that's why people usually, they're always usually talking about the right flange height, so you don't have issues in the future. When you use spacers, the spacers usually fail. If not done properly, they'll leak. So what I like to do is I like to put a bunch of silicone all over this thing before I do it. I do the same thing. I put a bead of silicone, put all over. I get pretty excessive. Then you would fasten it down. And if you got to keep, stacking them, you would just keep doing the same thing over and over again. Take the sticker off, silicone it. Same thing. Add some more silicone here. Stack it. A lot of people, they're always worried about these smaller flanges. You see how it looks a lot tighter than here, like that. But I actually seen a video online where they flipped the toilet upside down and they actually compared the smaller, tighter diameter flange to the toilet itself. The hole in the toilet's like about this big. So it's the same, pretty much the same size. So I don't know why people are so worried about this the tighter diameter. And then another thing too, they're so worried about that. They're worried about the tighter diameter. Okay, well, now they're gonna go the extra mile to try to get the right size in there. Okay, and now they're gonna install this wax ring with the funnel on it, and it's just gonna cut that size down, which would be right on top, but it still cuts the size down. See, this is pretty much the same diameter as this toilet flange. Oh, I forgot to mention, obviously these are glue-in. You would glue it, you would prime it and glue it with these. Obviously, because there's no seal on them. So here are some more, if you don't want to replace the flange. I actually lost the other one of these, but... So say if this is cracked, it's cracked right here. What you can do is, if you're able to, you can unscrew the flange, lift the flange up a little bit, and you can just slide it under. But obviously you'd have to put your bolt in it first. So you'd probably have to notch it out right here, slip the bolt on. Actually, let me show you. Here's a bolt. I don't usually use these. I usually use the set fasts, but I like having multiple things in my truck. So all you would do is you would slide under this, and then you'd probably notch it so you can get this bolt in here, and then you would slide it under. Well, you would slide it over, but then it goes under it. Now you're able to bolt the toilet down now, because you can go to a more solid area of the flange, as long as the inside's not cracked. It's just a different type. You're actually able to slide it under and actually put screws through it and have it hold down. This is a different type. If you guys ever seen the PVC flanges with a metal ring around it, this is a repair for those. So this one just slips on underneath it, and then you can see the flange on it that actually grabs that PVC flange, and then you would just bolt it to the floor. But obviously you would have it like this. You would cut off the other one, and then you would slip this in. I like this one a little better because it's the same thing as this, but you're actually able to screw it in. So you would literally take the screws out, slide it in on both sides, and then you can put the screws on to fasten it, so it'll actually stay on better, other than relying on the screws to hold this together. I don't know, that's just my, that's what I think. Here's another one, it's a full ring. Okay, so this is another way of doing it too. See how the, see how there's a corkscrew? There's just a lag bolt side, and you got a regular fine thread. So you would actually, if the wood's still good, rather than using the plate, you would actually just screw this in. You would take the screw, put it right in there, screw it in, and then you wouldn't have to worry about repairing that, and you could just bolt the toilet down to this. It's always good to have different repairs, because you never know what you're going to run into, and because every situation is different. Wax rings. I like this type. It's a jumbo. A lot more wax on the sides. A lot more wax. These are the wax rings I really don't like. Just because of the flange, or what do you want to call it, this funnel. Because you put it down, and what happens is people like to jump on the toilet. And what happens is, over time, the toilet gets pushed back, pushing back the wax ring. Now, what happens is, you got the funnel in the toilet. We'll just say this is the toilet. Now, once it's pushed over enough, it'll start splashing because it starts getting in the way, and then that's going to cause leaks. That's why I'm not a fan of these. If anything, I'll cut them off. Here's an extra thick wax. This is if the flange is below the floor. So you can use an actual, you can use a regular size wax ring if the flange is flush, or a 1/4 inch above the floor. But if it's below the floor, you have to use an extra thick one. If you use too thick of a wax ring, there's a chance where the wax ring could actually spill over. Well, not really spill, but when you mash it down, it can go to the middle and it can start blocking your hole, which could cause a leak, because it'll splash off of that, and then you would see it leaking underneath the toilet. Yeah, these are my favorite because there's like extra wax on this. So really, when you're, it says this is for 3 and 4 inch. But when certain flanges I've seen, the old school flanges, where you put this in there, all you're getting is like half the wax ring, if that. And sometimes it actually slides inside of it. I've seen it. And that's why I'm like, this was a good fix for that. If there's any question that you think you're gonna actually, if it's gonna go half in, half out, or whatever, I would use this wax ring. But keep in mind, if you're using this extra thick wax, like I said, and this is below the floor, there's a chance you can blow the wax out. I mean, you gotta make that decision on yourself, but that's what people say, and I believe it too, because the thicker the wax, the weaker the seal. But other than that, that's a wrap for this one. Thanks for watching.